Welcome back to another episode of JailBreak Overlander. I'm Richie, and this is JailBreak. And it's the summertime. July and August, the snowpack in Colorado relents enough so that you can actually traverse the mountain passes. And that's exactly what I plan on doing. Colorado is amazing, whether it's its storybook nighttime skies, which are phenomenal, or the natural artwork you can find in the landscape all around you. Sheer cliff faces, mountain tops, or just amazingly colorful algae formations in the Colorado River. It's truly colorful Colorado for a reason. I was heading to Telluride, Colorado to do Imogene Pass from Telluride out to Ouray. And I wanted to try to show you a vantage point that no one's ever shown before. This is what you usually see when people show you video of Colorado. I'm going to take it a step above and beyond, literally, and show you what it's like to literally drive the truck on the mountain pass up the peaks for yourself. So sit back, relax, and check this out. When you start out in Telluride, you literally go down a 7-mile-per-hour main street, take a left, go behind a bunch of neighborhoods, and then you catch this dirt road. And you follow it up, and you follow it up. It gets steeper, more narrow, and more precarious as you go. And after about 1.5 miles on this dirt path, the forest starts to fall away, and you find yourself on Imogene Pass. Imogene Pass is absolutely epic, and the history behind it is amazing. It's a part of America that most people will never see, simply because the difficulty of getting there. I'm going to try to tell you a little bit of the history while showing you the trail from a point of view that most or no one has ever done before. So buckle up and hold on. This is going to be a long video. It's in 4K ultra high definition, and it's about a half an hour long. You're going to want to see this. You'll notice that to my left and my right, there are ruins and small shacks. These are old silver mining camps that used to be here. The Imogene Pass Road was built in 1880 for access to Ouray from Tomboy Mine. It was named for Imogene Richardson, the wife of one of the Thomas Walsh partners in the Camp Bird Mine. Wires carrying the first commercial transmission of alternating current electricity were strung across this path in the 1890s. You can see the sheer drop-off to my right, and every year when I do Imogene Pass, at least 2-3 other vehicles go over the side. It's almost always from careless driving or people that are under the impression that this is somehow a theme park, when it isn't. When you're driving on here, pay attention. If you've got lockers, use them. But never go near the edge because there are no guardrails, as you can see. The natural beauty, or the hidden beauty that most people will never witness, is amazing. Waterfalls can go from several hundred feet to a half a mile on Imogene Pass. It's phenomenal. There's not many places in the world where you can see large alpine forests like this, and the associated wildlife. Mountain goats, marmots, there's all sorts of things up there that are just one of a kind, only on Imogene Pass, which is why I make the trek every year when I can. You'll notice behind me the alpine forests. They're totally amazing. I'm at about 8,000 feet right now, and I will be heading up to approximately 13,400 feet. It's quite the trek, and I'm going to show it to you exactly as I saw it. Most people never get a chance to do this, and a lot of people that follow me on YouTube don't have the ability to do this. So I took great pains in videotaping this from as many angles as I could while still driving the vehicle safely in this precarious environment. The Tomboy mine was situated high above Telluride. For several years there was little activity at Tomboy because it was difficult to reach. However, after the silver crash in 1893, prospectors struck gold at the Tomboy, and the mine began to produce handsomely. At its peak, the mining camp supported about 900 people. In 1901, the Western Federation of Miners called their first strike in the Telluride area. The strike was successful, and non-union laborers were chased out of Tomboy over Imogene Pass. In 1903, the Tomboy mill again began to use non-union labor, and the second strike was called. The mine owners asked Governor James Peabody to call up the state militia, and the governor in turn called on President Theodore Roosevelt to send federal troops. With the area under military rule, the union and the strike were broken. The union labor was run out of town but set up camp at Red Mountain and plotted to recapture Tomboy and Telluride. Fort Peabody was constructed at the top of the pass in 1903 to protect against such attacks. The attack never occurred. The route was reopened as a four-wheel drive road in 1966, following the efforts of various four-wheel drive clubs. Right here, I'm literally driving up the side of a mountain on a single-lane road to get to the peak of Imogene Pass, which is at 13,200 and change. It's way up there. You can hear the supercharger whining, and the truck was having a little trouble keeping its temperature cool, but she made it as she always does. When you're at the top of the mountain, the color of the landscape makes you believe that you could be on another planet, like the moon or perhaps Mars. I wouldn't be surprised to see a NASA rover cruising by. Even though the road looks nice and smooth, trust me, it isn't. You can see the truck going side to side quite often. For people that are afraid of heights or get motion sickness, I would not recommend this whatsoever at all. But I've done this trail numerous times over the years, and I wanted to videotape it from this particular perspective because I've never seen it like this. There are some simple rules on the trail that sadly not enough people follow. Somebody coming up an incline like this has the right of way. As you can see, I have nowhere to go. There is no backing down, and there certainly isn't any turning around. A lot of people rent vehicles out here and don't even know how to use them, and that's what usually ends up as the deaths or rollovers every year. Almost never people like myself. Take a look at that color. Is that not exactly what we were told Mars looks like? It's crazy to look at it from this height. The landscape varies from elevation to elevation. The lower you go, the more forest there is. The higher you go, the more snow and barren it is. But you can always find wildlife no matter what the height, and I found that utterly amazing. I love this stuff. I live for this stuff. And it's amazing how many people you don't see up there. It's a sad state of affairs. People used to ride horses up here. And now in this modern era, we're driving metal horses, which is amazing. And this is it. This is the final approach. I am at the top of Imogene Pass. Now last year when I was up here, there was a couple more buildings, but the wind has literally blown them away. There's only a couple of mountain peaks that are higher than this particular pass, and it's phenomenal to be up here. Top of the world, indeed. Even before I started climbing, even at this altitude, I was able to find tracks of wildlife coming down the side of the mountain, which was pretty amazing. Now again, climbing up the mountain is one thing, but heading down is a totally different animal. You need to use your gears and you need to pay attention because it is rocky. Many places are washed out and gravity on its own is pulling you straight down. You really have to pay attention. Every 1,000 feet you descend, the terrain begins to change. There's less snow, there's more grass, and then there's more grass and more wildflowers. And then it goes from grass to wildflowers to conifers, pine trees, etc. It's truly a one-of-a-kind thing. For those of us that don't have the intestinal fortitude to climb a mountain on our own, this is the next best thing, in my opinion. This entire area is loaded with history. I spend most of my winter months in the desert when I can, looking for petroglyphs, etc., because I love this stuff. But in the summertime, up in these mountains, you can find things from the 1800s, you can find arrowheads. There's so much history on the paths that most people don't take, which is why many of us choose to overland, or off-road as it used to be called. The sights are amazing. For someone that enjoys photography or video like I do, this is utter heaven. Every direction, point your camera, you can't really take a bad shot. You can see right now by my speed, I'm going downhill and I've thrown it in second gear because the road is fairly smooth. Lots of people do this trail every year. You can do it in a very moderately modified vehicle. It doesn't matter what type of vehicle necessarily, it's the amount of common sense and experience that you bring to the table. Common sense is the number one thing that gets people in trouble out here. You're very far away from the nearest help, put it that way. When I travel, I carry as many spares as I can imagine I might need, and I carry first aid, and I carry food, and the ability to filter and contain water. Everyone should. The width of this trail will definitely give you pause. As you can see, it's only as wide as my vehicle. But let's imagine back in the late 1800s when people were coming down this with donkeys, horses, and carts just to go to work. People don't realize how easy we've got it these days. I'm crawling down this trail in a super modified vehicle basically built to do just this. But back when this trail was first blazed, these were guys with one pair of shoes, one donkey, one cart, maybe a shovel and a pickaxe. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. No matter what time of year on Imogene, you're always going to find snow. You have to remember that you're 2.5 miles above sea level, and it shows. The weather can change in the blink of an eye. I've had it beautiful, hot, and sunny, and switch over to snow and hail, again, in the blink of an eye. If you're going to do Imogene Pass, whether it's from Ouray to Telluride or Telluride to Ouray, plan on half a day, but if you can, plan on 2 days. Camp overnight. That's what I do. It's amazing up there in the middle of the night. The skies are beyond belief. Switchbacks or very sharp U-turns are very common on Imogene Pass, as they are on any mountain. Just remember, whoever is coming up has the right of way. On Imogene, fortunately, you can basically see a mile away, so you can see if there's traffic coming in the other direction. At this time of day, it's very rare to run into another vehicle. I've driven down this pass before in years past when that snowpack above me was at least 10 to 15 feet tall. It was amazing. Always be on the lookout for little pull-offs like this one right in front of me, in case you do run into another vehicle coming the other way. There are some here and there, but make sure they're safe to pull onto. After this point right here, there's way too many trees to continue flying a drone safely, so I stopped. But I'm basically in the tree line now. Waterfalls, scenic views are absolutely everywhere. It's amazing the views that Imogene Pass affords you. People with cameras will be in second heaven. Utterly amazing. The wildlife, the timber, all this stuff. Soak it in. Enjoy it while you can. Now, for those that love obstacles, coming out of Imogene Pass affords you plenty of places to flex your suspension. There's lots of rock climbs, with bypasses of course, but I don't take bypasses. There's no two ways about it. If there's rocks in front of me, I'm climbing over them. I do it all the time. I love it. For those that love water crossings, Imogene Pass offers many places to get your tires wet. Depending on the time of the year, it can either be mild or incredibly wild. I've seen both. And when you cross this final stream with the bridge next to it, you're off Imogene Pass. You're heading back down the mountain. But the fun isn't over quite yet. There's still one more iconic photo spot that most people don't get, and I went out of my way to make sure I did get it on video, and you're going to see it in a moment. Even though you're technically off the mountain, you're still at 9,000 feet. And driving down this dirt road, most people miss these things. But there are some waterfalls and valleys that are absolutely stunning. I make sure to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, when I'm on the trail. Because of the 4K footage and the length of this video, I literally spent 2 days editing this. I truly hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and leave a comment below, and I'll return the favor. I am out.